Today on DockSide TV, we're talking fishing before the front. Today's Monday. We got a big front coming in later on this evening. We're talking 30-mile-per-hour winds. So what we're going to do today is get that pre-front bite, and that's what we're going to concentrate on today. So stay tuned to DockSide TV, and you can get the tips and tricks on fishing before the front. This one in the box. Fishing has kind of been off this year due to high winds, the river flooding. We're dealing with muddy water conditions, and the fish have been kind of small this year for whatever reason. So, you know, when we're fishing this time of the year, you know, we're normally catching those 17, 18-inch trout, those spawning trout, but maybe due to the river water starting to flow back into the lake, we're starting to get a lot of those 12-inch trout. You know, it's just something you got to deal with. It's always a cycle that you have to go through, you know. Once the water cleans up, we start getting the southeast winds, the river starts to lower down, the water will clean up, those big females will start to move in. Now, what we were kind of talking about earlier, you really don't want to fish after a front, all right? What's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of rain, you're going to get high winds. It's going to really muddy up the lake. It's going to really dirty it up, you know. You always really want to fish that pre-front, kind of what we're doing right now. You probably have 15, 20 fish in the box, fishing the pre-front. The water's still dirty, but the fish need to feed. They're going to feed because they know that front's coming way before we do. So they need to feed up and go ahead, so they can go ahead and hunker down when the front comes. So you probably want to wait, you know, maybe 4 or 5 days after this big front that's coming with all the high winds and dirty water and rain. And then after that, you know, those fish will get back on the roll, they'll get hungry again, and then they'll be ready to feed. With the high winds and the front approaching, we got this big wind coming out of the south, so we decided to change tactics and head further towards the south shore in that Irish Bayou area. We went back into the marsh around that area and along those rocks, and with the south wind, you're somewhat protected when you get around those rocks, and we pushed into the marsh that was around Irish Bayou. Back in that area, you'll catch your redfish, you'll catch your bass, and you'll catch your speckled trout. A lot of times when we get that big south wind, it'll push that water in there, and those fish will get in behind those rocks and in that marsh. And a lot of those canals are deep, and when you get into those canals, those fish will be right around those points or in those deep canals. That is something you definitely want to explore whenever you start getting high winds and high water. You know, somewhere you can stay protected from the wind and still be able to catch a variety of fish. Alright, this is about the average size trout, you know, right, we're catching right now, right before this front. You know, 14, 15 inches. It's real thick on the backside, beautiful fish. But what we're alluding to is, you know, what we're talking about is right before the front, you kind of get the lake to yourself. There's not a lot of boat traffic. You can make that drift down the bridge, you know, and kind of pick up and just work through them, just weed through them, and you'll catch a mess of fish. You know, you just always think right before the front is probably one of the best times to go because those fish need to feed. Until later, next time on DockSide TV. This one in the box.
Get away from my spot.
You know, when you're fishing the lake, you know, you're catching fish, but you also have to deal with crazy people like that in the background.
Yeah, look at y'all. Y'all doing pretty good?
Yeah, they're running into patches of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got those islands up there where I stopped. Dude, up to the side.
Yeah.
You better get out of here.
I am.
You're messing up my dang fishing.
Listen, good fishing in your basketball to be this rough and you can still catch fish.
Have I been catching
Heard
them?
it first, live, right here on DockSide.
I'm gonna go get that whaler again.
Even on bad weather days, you still got to deal with crazy people on the lake. Remember that.